Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now, earlier today, I was filming the latest episode of my podcast, The Last Honest Realtor. In case you haven't listened, it should be on the YouTube channel there. Highly recommend that you take a listen. Now, this week's episode was about why people love to hate Toronto real estate. We discussed a lot of things, including but not limited to this poor younger generation that is completely shamed for not being able to own with all the social media, the obsession with Toronto real estate. But we also discussed this idea of Schadenfreude, which is this German term that means taking pride or pleasure in the misfortunes of others. Now, a lot's been made of the fact that folks are selling for losses. I've had multiple clients that have bought properties and then turned around and sold them years later, didn't make money on it. Imagine that, it's a market, it fluctuates. But today in Pick 5, I wanted to test the theory. I spent so much time going through listings over the last couple of days, properties that just came out that are listed for sale in February of 2026, that sold in 2021. Now, this isn't about Schadenfreude. I only mention that, of course, because that seems to be this phenomenon. There's this real estate article in the Toronto Star, I believe it was fall of 2025, that examined all these people on Reddit that are cheering the market to go down and the losses of people. No, what we want to do today is we want to look at how the market has moved. Let's be professional, let's be respectful, and let's look at what are the prices like, what are the listing strategies, how are these properties being offered to market. That is going to be a fun exercise, and let's take a look. So you can see our map. I've tried to get properties from all across the spectrum, and we're going to start here with a little house that is listed for $10.99. Now you can see here, days on market 2. It just came out, $10.99, and we're going to scroll down to the remarks for brokerage and see offers to be reviewed February 24th at 5 o'clock p.m. So first thing to note, these people bought in 2021, regardless of what they paid, what it's worth. Our strategy here is the list low and hold back offers. Now the property is awesome for what it is. It's only a 22 by 49. It's a small little lot, but I think you know that going in. There's no parking space. Again, I think you know that going in. This is not a 120-foot deep lot. This is not a 2-car laneway parking. What it is right at Bathurst and Bloor. You couldn't get a better location. Christie Pits over here to your west. Scroll out a little bit and you can see that you're not too far from the annex. So this is commonly mistakenly referred to as the annex. I would call this Mirvish Village. It used to be an incredible Korean barbecue place that back when I had friends and we were social, we used to go Thursday nights, I think, every, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And you would sit there and like cook your own stuff. We thought it was really cool and novel, and you kind of realize, hey, wait a minute, like we're doing all the work here. So yes, Koreatown, it is. Awesome location. And as I mentioned, right, you're sort of that, let's zoom in, that's sort of half lot here, if you will. It's a 22 by 49. Now it's a 4-bedroom plus 1 3-bathroom. It's a lot of house despite the fact that it doesn't look like a huge lot. Now inside looks somewhat fairly original, some sparse furniture. Could have been a rental, right? They could have moved out, just decided to put it on the market. See what you want about the decor, staging, lack thereof, whatever you want, right? Some obviously older furniture here. But this is what we're seeing in this market. Not everybody is staging. Not everybody is spending the time, effort, energy on it. And ultimately, we'll see how the market responds, right? So you can see here, they put in a newer kitchen, but then you've got kind of boom, boom, appliance just sort of stacked here. So the question, guys, that we're asking, in addition to how is this, right? You can see the tile steps here. This looks like probably a duplex at some point. So in addition to how is this being offered and sold, which is to say that it's listed low with an offer date, what were the prices like? And what do we think this is going to sell for? So finish going through, right? There's the basement, some tile flooring, electric heat. Got to close my email. There you got the pillar that's holding up the entire house. Yes. So you can see, right, it's, well, there's the backyard, okay, or backyard or lack thereof. So as I said, 50-foot lot. Not a heck of a lot to it, but this is really about location. And this is a great investment property because it is right off of the subway. Good aerial shot there. Okay. So what we want to know, guys, they're at $10.99. What did they buy it for in 2021? Well, here you go. $1,220,000 and listed for $10.99, sold over list. So the question is going to be, and this is fascinating, if prices are down since 2021, they're listed at the same price that it was listed for 5 years ago. Are they going to get the same? If you were to look, and I had this conversation with a prospect in Leaside the other day, and essentially said, what you guys paid for your home And then if you look at the home price index, you look at the GTA average, you look at the 416 average or 416 detached, they're all saying your home is down 13 to 15%. It's not. Your home is down 2 to 4%, if that. Now that's for a detached 4-bed, 4-bath in the lease side. Across the board, you could be down more than the average. So the question here is, how much is this house going to fetch? And by the time you watch this, you can probably look it up and see in your House Sigma or whatever you use. But interesting to note that they are taking the exact same approach. Listed for $1099 in 2021, sold for $1,220,000. And here we are again, listed for $1099 with an offer date. Will they be able to get more than what they paid when the market is down? Guys, there's one more important piece to this. Take a look. Listed for $1,399,000, 84 days in the market. So we can work backwards here and say, they're on the market at $1099, they've got an offer date. They bought it for $1,220,000 5 years ago. The market has declined since then. Okay, well, will they get the $1,220,000 they paid? But then, as I said, you look back and you say, okay, they were previously listed for $1,399,000. They have an offer date for $1099. Doesn't mean they're going to hold out for $1,399, but certainly they are looking for a number that doesn't seem to be in line with the market movement. So far be it for me to say, we can't really tell what the market is going to do, but we'll move on to the next one. This is 925 Greenwood. So I've always liked this area. I think there's a ton of value. Let me go to the map and I'll show you guys. So in Danforth Village, and if you were to say, all right, so this is Plater Estates over here. This is that kind of no man's land, right? It's not Plater Estates, but it's better than Danforth Village. Danforth Village essentially from Donlands over to Woodbine, east, west, Milverton, Gleepholm, Springdale, Strathmore, Queensdale, etc. And then here you've got on Greenwood. So great access to TTC, great access to infrastructure, schools, parks, and all that. And the house itself, okay, well, it's narrow, 15.58, short, 100. There's no parking, but it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, and it's in pretty good shape. Let's take a look. So starter home, brick, okay. You could take down this wall if you wanted to open it up, sure. Very, very typical layout. So sparse staging, they've done a decent enough job. And it doesn't look dramatically different there. You can see living room right behind that wall. I'd probably open it up because it's pretty narrow. But good staging, right? I said sparse, I think it's enough. And it's not a huge house, you don't want to overstage it. The green kitchen's always an interesting choice. I had a client on Gillard, they had a green kitchen. Bold choice, but you know what? It worked and they sold. There was another one I showed last year in Bloor West Village. Can't remember the street, but man, was it green. Holy moly. So nice kitchen reno. I'm already looking at this and liking it and thinking they are very, very attractively priced. But the question is, guys, what do you think they bought this for in 2021? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So here you've got the little bedroom staged as an office. The fact that the desk is turned that way, making me wonder how this room is laid out. And then we'll go downstairs. So, oh, there's a renovated bath, of course. So that's interesting. You've got the big soaker tub, but I just would be worried water's going to spray everywhere. That's the dad in me. Water. I'm always, water, water. The kids splash. You know what? To be perfectly honest, when they were taking a bath together and they said, "Can we get our swim goggles?" That's on me. That was a dad mistake. When they started splashing, it was sort of like if you or someone else could have been there and been like, "Well, you did give them swim goggles." That I'll wear that. That was definitely a mistake on my part. But yes, water is the absolute killer. And when I see, can we just go back to this tub here? I look at this, I'm like, this is really cool and all, but when you pull that crappy little dollar store piece of vinyl there across, like how much water is going to get everywhere. So, okay, now you know about me. So downstairs we have a really nice finished, looks like oak staircase, and it goes down to a sort of unfinished basement, right? That's a classic basement finishing job where you have all the ductwork and the exposed ceiling, and then you're like, let's put some flooring down and create, you know, a little rec room. So that's fine. Just, you know, don't bang your head in between. And then you've got this ridiculously renovated bathroom in the basement. It's wild, eh? Okay, nice little backyard. So I like it. It's a great starter house. And for those of you that are watching and paying attention, you can see SC, it's already sold conditionally. Now, they're at $1,145,000. We'll scroll down here, guys, and we'll see, okay, no listing or hold back on offers here. No list of dates for offer dates. And let's go up and we see, hey, $1,125,000. Okay, so they bought it for $1,125,000 in 2021, listed, of course, at $899,900. And now they're listed for $1,145,000 and it's sold conditionally. So on the market 9 days, I mean, what do you think they got? Did they sell this for $900,000? No, I highly doubt it. I would think they probably were within 1% to 2% of the list price. So even though the market is down, right, 15%, whatever metric you want to use, looks like these folks sold for maybe a hair more. And, you know, of course, they've put in some renovations to it, which goes without saying, there's a cost to that. But interesting to see the listing strategy here. Did not underlist, hold back, brought it out, offers anytime, and now they're sold conditionally. So the next one here, guys, is 139 King Edward. I've always admired this street. I'm going to show you where it is. So as I said, prime Danforth Village is sort of that between Donlands and Woodbine. And if we go to the map here, we can see, yes, we are on the other side of Woodbine. And notice all of these streets are sort of east-west. And then the streets kind of change. Up here, you get 3 or 4 streets. And we'll name them here. Yeah, King Edward, Cedarvale, Gledhill, and Coleridge as well, that go north-south. And then once you get into Oak Park, they start to go east-west again. So I like this pocket because there is value. Again, you're not too far from the Danforth, and you have your infrastructure, and you have your subway, but of course you'd probably prefer to be further west. So the house itself, I think it's great. It's detached, it's 2-story. It's wide enough, 22.64 by 126, 3-bed plus 1 3-bath. You got 2-car parking. What's not to like? If you pick this house up and you put it over towards Donland, it's probably another $150,000. So inside, take a look. And we've got some spring shots here. I have a lot of listings coming out now where it's winter, and I'm saying, do you have any photos of when this looked better? You'd be surprised how many people have taken photos of their backyard just to say that they did. Especially, I'm going to typecast this. I've got a couple of older clients. It's like they've got great photos of their backyard in the summer. So let's go inside here. There's a lot of photos of the front deck. Okay, inside again, nicely staged, open concept. They've taken down some of the interior freestanding walls. Got a nice little round table. It always reminds me of being at like a Chinese food restaurant, right? Where you get one of these tables here. I like that. I like that. You can see everybody. You got a good vibe in there. So very nicely upgraded, and you've got a main floor patio room. We mentioned that there are 3 bathrooms. Lots of photos in this one, guys. Holy moly. So there you go. Upgraded kitchen. Very, very nice. You can tell it's detached and on a water lot. This doesn't feel like your typical semi, but it's got, you know, a bit of a semi price. As I mentioned, this would be 150 grand if it was further west. So they're taking us, I believe, now outside. Yes, they did. And now you've got some of the summer photos. Now, we're telegraphing here. They have a lot of summer photos, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. So big backyard. I don't really love the flagstone. I'd rather have grass there, but okay. And then we'll go upstairs. They took us outside. Now we're back. We got our drum set, reminded of Step Brothers. That was a not safe for work scene. And then you've got renovated bathroom. Very, very nice. Okay. So basement, didn't really stage this room. It's big. It's a nice big rec room. And you could tell this reno was what, like 5 years old? More photos. I can't handle any more photos of, okay, there you go. There's the backyard. There's the snow. So 2 things we want to note. One is you're saying, why was I making note of the fact that there are photos of it in the spring? We'll come back to that. We want to see, based on $1,329,000 offers anytime 6 days in the market, we want to see, oh, okay, there's our 2021 price. So $1,481,000. Now, guys, you're looking at this now, if you've just sort of started paying attention to real estate in the last couple of years, you're being like, wait a minute, it sold for 165% of the list price? Yes, this is how we bought and sold real estate back then. We picked a ridiculously unreasonable price. Say that we thought this thing was worth $1.4. Let's list it at $899, and then you get 17 offers and it sells for $1,481,000. But what I wanted to draw your attention to was this. They're $1,481,000, they're $1,329,000 list, but they were previously out at $1,428,000. This is not the first time this has been listed. So we've seen that the first one had an offer date, and we've seen that the second one was offers anytime. Now we're seeing that we're on our what? 3rd listing. So we're $1,428,000. They came down, I think, $1,329,000 or $1,379,000, $1,399,000. Now they're at $1,329,000. So whereas the first and the second one look like they're going to sell for about or even more than what was paid in 2021, here's an example of one that is listed significantly below the purchase price in 2021. So move along to the next one here, guys. We've got 58 Pauline. Pauline. Okay, semi-detached, 2.5-story, 20 by 113, 4-bed plus 1 4-bath. Listed for $1,600,000, 7 days on the market. Where is Pauline, you were asking me? So it's out at Dufferin, again, along the Bloor line. You know, even though I don't take transit, I love to talk about how it's important in a major world-class city. So you were right off Bloor Street, and of course there's your infrastructure. You're walking a coffee, if there's shops or restaurants around there that you like. It's a great location. And the house itself, yeah, look, kitchen in the basement, okay. We've lit it up like a jack-o'-lantern to take photos, and let's take a look at those 50 photos. 50, wow, that's a lot. So what are we gonna see inside? Okay, got a big old blue couch, not all open concept, ridiculous amount of pot lights. And that's stone that nobody really likes. So yeah, that's not all open concept. You have the staircase that runs perpendicular to the house. So of course, it kind of divides the space up. Can't really do open concept that way. So this is another one where, and I'm going to show you in a minute what it looked like when they bought it before. But another one where you're going to say, okay, what have they done since they bought, and what are they trying to achieve for it? So I can tell you the surprise is, well, not a heck of a lot. We'll go upstairs and you'll see, oh, hello, kitchen. Okay, so it's a little duplex. That's the +1. So duplex, main floor kitchen looks nice. This one looks a little bit dated. You can see here, and we don't need to go through the floor plan. Obviously, it's very, very common when you have a duplex. It's always like one of the units is supremely renovated compared to the other. And in this case, you know, main floor and basement is better than upstairs unit. It's a 2.5 story, right? So once you add in that half story in the basement, you're essentially 2 units that are 2 levels each. And you can start to see here where you get these big bulkheads and dormers. Kind of feels like we're on the 3rd floor. So there you go. Unless someone picked that tile, I'm going to say that, you know, that's probably a little bit older and dated. So we'll keep going, and guess what? Guess what, folks? Guess what? Basement unit, okay? So duplex, triplex, I'm not going to call it a triplex. It's 3 units, if you would like to call it that, but of course the ones upstairs are connected. Don't love the dark paint colors, the mattress on the bed, and the floor. See, dark paint colors makes every room feel a little bit smaller. So we've done the map. Let's go to the listing price. We said that it was $1,599,999. Where are we here in 2021? $1,045,000. So let me do the math here. $1,045,000 in 2021, bought it, done nothing to it, and now $1,599,999. I don't know, George. Seinfeld reference, I don't think that the market has gone up that much. So I want to show you one more thing, guys, because as I just said, I don't know if the market's gone up that much. You bought it for $1,485,000. You've listed it for $1,599,000. But guess what? They actually came out last year at $1,789,000. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's $300,000 more than you paid 15% ago. So then they listed for $1,399,000 and offer date didn't sell. Then they went up to $1,729,000 and now they're at $1,599,000. So some people need to sell, some people don't need to sell. Some people think that they want to sell, but their actions and their pricing show you differently. Here's a case where I would suspect that if that was $1,045,000 in 2021, you know, might be worth 10, 15% less, might be worth the same, but I don't think it's $1,008,000, and I wonder if it's $1,599,000. I'm gonna say probably not. Okay, so the last one here, guys, and here's a house I love. This is 1709 Dundas. Now you hear Dundas, you're like, ugh, Dundas, busy street. Listen, I have 2 clients on Dundas Street East. Yes, it's busier, but you're gonna get a relative discount, and this house is awesome. So this is a 20 by 85. It's a semi-detached, it's 2 stories, 3 bed plus 1 4 bath, but this thing is beautiful inside. I just took you from Pauline, which was like a duplex with another unit. No, this one's gorge. I said gorge. I like to shorten words. It makes me feel like I'm 20. So inside, boom. Lovely. It's, as I said, 20-foot lot. It's definitely wider. And they've got 3 beds and 4 baths in here. It's a big footprint. So super open concept, really, really nicely renovated. They've kept the original door, which is an interesting choice. And you might say like, oh, okay, you walk right into your dining room. Sure. That'd be the one, I guess, critique that I would have. And then where you might expect to find the hall closet, they have done, well, this. Okay, powder room. So you don't have the hall closet, as my mother would say, I'll just put up some hooks. So you've got your powder room with some pretty funky wallpaper. There's a shout out to mom. Someone commented in last week's Pick 5, like, yeah, you talk about your mom a lot. Yeah, you know, no, I definitely do. Yeah, that's for sure. So inside, renovated kitchen. The kitchen is the focal point of this house. It's in the middle, which I actually like. You're so used to going into semis, living, dining, kitchen. This is dining at the front, living at the back, kitchen in the middle. It really makes, as I said, like your entire house is about kitchen living. So beautiful renovation. And at the back, this is where you'd have your family room in a bigger house. We've just kind of flipped it, right? You might have your dining room at the back if you felt like it, but I don't know. I think that would make the living room too small. Okay, so backyard's not huge, right? As I said, it's an 85-foot lot, but everything in this house, you can see the original brick everyone's gonna love, and you've got the modern design with this glass instead of the wrought iron spindles. Brick goes all the way up, and it's not faux brick, it's real brick. Walk-through closet to primary. Really nice, really nice. Now, are you wondering, okay, well, they bought it in 2021. Would they pay? Are they being realistic? Yeah, it's tough. For the longest time, everyone thought real estate's only ever going to go up in value. I might have contributed to that. People in the YouTube comment section are going to say, well, certainly that's what you real estate agents did. But listen, it's, I don't know, musical chairs, if you will. Eventually, yeah, the music's going to stop and the market will go back up again. But the people that got into day trading of real estate, yeah, no, not great. But the people that said, okay, you know what, I've owned this for 5-6 years, now I got to sell, yeah, it's a market fluctuation. So I love the outdoor space and it's all kind of hardscaped. Is that a measuring tape? Well, I don't know. But they did a really, really good job. And now you go back, you've obviously got the snow photos. You kind of got to show the seasons, I guess. And then there's your parking at the back. So they're parking it one car sort of behind, if you will, the fence. I'm not going to speak to whether or not you're going to be harassed by the city of Toronto. Probably will. I was talking to somebody the other day about what it would be like to cut off the limb of a tree these days. And I assume you're going to have to fill out substantial paperwork on that. So I like the backyard. You can see there, that's the one car parking. There's no garage. There is a laneway. You park, of course, behind your back fence. So what did this sell for in 2021? $1,550,000. Now again, you can see $1,049,000 sold for $1,550,000, 500,000 over list. Yes, guys, that is how the market worked back then. So the question becomes, for so many of you, $1,649,000, 10 days in the market, it's the first time it's been listed. This wasn't like the other ones where we listed low, didn't get what we wanted and relisted. The question is, are we gonna get $1,650,000 for this? So is it worth it? And here you're looking at this and you're saying, I'm $150,000 above what I paid in 2021. There's my land transfer tax, there's my real estate fees. Some people need to sell, others want to sell. I can't speak to the motivations of these folks or anybody else. If I was looking at this on paper and I was saying, what has the average home price done since 2021? I would say that the house is worth less than when it was bought in 2021. But at the end of the day, it's worth what someone's willing to pay. If someone's walking in there and paying $1,649,000 or close to it, good for the seller, good for the buyer who wants it. And as I always say, a market average is made up of other averages. The GTA average, well, it's made up of Peel, Halton, Durham, York, and Toronto. Toronto average is made up of semi-detached and detached and condo. So if you were to actually break it down, take condominiums out of it, and go and look at what something like this has done over the last 5 years, it's not as dire as you could make it out to be if you used other selected statistics such as, you know, the home price index, for example, which would say this is probably down 25% since then. It's not. The fact that these guys have listed at that price shows you. So there you go, guys. I thought that was interesting. I wish the best for all of these folks. I hope they get the prices that they are looking for. But in this market, it is always important to compare and contrast what was paid with what is being asked. Some areas of the market are down more than average, some are down less than average. Some people need to sell, some people want to sell. Some people are just listing for prices, like the one on Pauline, for example. They listed $300,000 above what they paid when the market was substantially higher. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. That is it for Pick 5 for this week. Thanks for watching. As always, if you'd like to have Pick 5 emailed to you automatically every week, go to torontorealtyblog.com, click on Pick 5, sign up. You get an email when we launch, usually on Thursday. Thank you for watching, guys. Welcome your comments in the YouTube comments section below. See you here next week on Pick 5. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.